Hey everybody, and welcome to a video on making a super extension cord. Now, Lisa and I are makers, and whenever we can, we like to work outside. The problem with working outside is you have to take an extension cord outside. Now, when we take an extension cord out of my shop, usually you have one cord coming out with one plug in it. And that works okay, but you're constantly unplugging it and plugging it back in, because you might have your table saw, miter saw, you might have a sander out there, you could have a camera. You could have several different things that need electricity, but only one plug in, and it can be a real pain to just keep constantly unplugging that one extension cord and plugging it back in. So what I'm going to make today is a really nice extension cord that'll have 4 plug-ins. It's going to be ground fault to protect it, and I think it's really going to make working outside more enjoyable. So check it out. Watch how I make this thing. All right guys, in order to make this super extension cord, you're going to need some parts. You're going to need your plug-ins. Now you want a ground fault plug-in and just a regular plug-in. Now when you get this regular plug-in, get this one that has a metal bracket around it. It's much stronger. Plus, the screw that secures it goes all the way through it. So that makes it totally better than the cheapest ones you can buy. Don't always buy the cheapest ones you can find. You're going to need a box. Now let's talk about the box a second. There's 2 different kind of boxes you can buy. There's one that have these round ends where the corners are rounded. And they got kind that has sharp edges where they weld a box together. Get this kind right here. Get the one that's got the round corners, because you're going to be handling this extension cord a lot, and the last thing you want to do is be cutting your hands and fingers on those sharp corners. Okay, you're going to need a face plate. Now you want to get this universal one. This universal one has the openings that'll hold the grounds, plus it has ways to put in these receptacles too. It has universal things that fit over them to secure it. So you need that. You're going to need some wire nuts. You're going to need some old wire, because we're going to need to be wiring some things together. Now this is something you'll need for this super cord that you can't get at Home Depot or Lowe's. Everything else for this you can get at Home Depot for Lowe's. But this is called a tension relief. Okay, and what this is designed to do is to your extension cord to go through this. This will be secured to the box. This makes it really strong, and it'll make it where your cord won't slip at all. I mean, it makes it extremely secure. I'll show you why real quick. If you look right here, on the inside of that, it's got these teeth. They're all equal, and as you screw it in, it puts equal pressure on the cord. And the tighter you get that screw, the more it tightens down on your extension cord, and it's not going anywhere. Okay? I think I mentioned we need some wire nuts. You're going to need a few tools. Oh, one more thing on this tension relief. You can't get this at Home Depot or Lowe's, but I got mine off Amazon. I got 2 of them for $9.95, so basically 10 bucks. But you can't just order any old one and they all work. You have to measure the cord you're going to use. Okay? The way you do it is you get some calipers and you measure how big your wire is, and then you'll know which one to buy. You can get calipers like these at Harbor Freight for less than 10 bucks. All right, so it's always nice to have some calipers in your toolbox. You never know when you might need to measure something. All right, so that's all the parts you need. Now let me show you how you put this thing together. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to secure this line to the box. Guys, when you get these boxes right here, there's a little corner inside the box that's like a bubble. And that bubble is where you can ground everything, okay? But this screw right here does not come with the box. That screw you have to buy separately when you're at the hardware store. It's a 3/32 screw, and get one that's 3/8. If you get one 3/8, it won't extend past the, see how it's dented? It won't extend past. And once again, won't scratch your finger, scratch the floor, scratch some piece of work you're working on or anything like that. All right, so what we got to do is we got to knock out a hole for the tension relief. Now, be careful because a lot of these holes are different sizes. On this particular box, I bought one that had all the same sizes of this, but sometimes they vary, and you got to make sure that you have the right one. Okay? So, let's knock out that hole. The way I knock out a hole is I put a screwdriver on there and just tap it with my hand. All right, get a good pair of pliers and just twist it and it'll come right out. All right. Now, I've already frayed my wires from my extension cord. Be careful when you get doing this that you don't cut these 3 wires. This is your positive, your neutral, and your ground. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this off. Excuse me, allergies. You're going to feed this cord through here. Okay, get the red through there just a little bit. We're gonna take it right through that part that gets tight. We want to make sure that the red is all the way through. Make sure it's tightening down on red and not these 3 loose wires. And for now, I'm just gonna hand tighten it. But look at this. I've just hand tightened it with my hand and I'm pulling that hard and I can't budge it. When I put some an adjustable wrench on there and tighten it down real good, holding it with pliers, that thing's not going to be going anywhere. I just want to make sure that I'm happy with where it's located before I do that. Next step is we put this through here and we take the nut here and put it on like so. Now I can look and I can see inside this box and I can see that I got just a little bit of that red coming through. So that's how I want it. So what I'm going to do now is tighten that down really good. So I'm going to use adjustable wrench. I'll tighten it as much as I can, just holding it with my fingers. And that right there is tight. That is really tight. I want to tighten this one up a little bit too on that cord. Okay guys, now look at this. That cord is coming through that box. All this is tight. I'm pulling hard as I can and I can't move it. All right. So now I'll show you all the other parts to this. Okay guys, here's all the wires you'll need. You'll need 3 ground wires. You'll need one black for the hot, one white for the neutral. All right. For the ground, we're going to want to take one of the grounds, use the circle in our pliers here. Oh, when we'll hit the camera, sorry about that. And we're going to make a circle. We're going to secure this to the screw inside the blocks. And that's what everything's going to be grounded on. Now, I like to pinch that tight around that screw before I tighten it up. So get it good and tight so we can have everything nice and grounded. There we go. So there's our ground wire. Now what we have to do, we're going to try to maximize our space here. So I'm going to actually, since it's an extension cord and not, you know, not in the wall of a house, if you ever need to come back and work on it, you could loosen everything and get some more if you need it. I'm going to try to save as much space as I can. So I'm going to cut it about right there. Okay, need to cut this line and strip it. Oh, what am I thinking? I'm trying to strip it there. I need to cut it right there. Then I need to strip it. Sometimes it's loose wire, the hardest one to strip. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have these tied together, but we also need two, what we always call them, is pigtails. So I need two pigtails that's coming out of this ground here. Since we have two receptacles, these grounds are going to, I need everything to be grounded. So I like to get everything lined up here. Get that old wire nut. And get that as tight as we can get it. You put your pliers like that. Sometimes if we go opposite those two little tabs and get a little bit more. Now, so everything's grounded. I have two pigtails coming out. Those are going to go to each of the receptacles. Okay? Thing moved on me a little bit. All right. First thing we got to do is picture how we're going to have these in here. So we're going to have these mounted in this box like so. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. But they're not actually mounted to the box. They're going to be mounted to the faceplate. Okay? And then the faceplate mounts to the box, and then that's what gets secure. So let me get the faceplate ready, and then we'll be back. Now let me show you something on these universal plates. You notice that these universal plates, you have these 4 tabs right here, right? Those tabs have a purpose. See that hole in them? That screw fits perfectly in that. These are going to work as nuts to hold these parts in. So it's very important. We're going to have to remove these 4 tabs, but keep them because we need that nut to help hold that in. So now you can start to see how this is going to work. The ground one is going to go straight in there like that. This receptacle will be secured like that. Okay? Now, if you notice, neither of these will fit in there because of these tabs. Well, these receptacles are designed to go into walls, but also, if you'll look closely, every one of these little tabs have little score lines on them. And those score lines are so we can tear these tabs right off. You just work them right like that. They come right off, okay? So for this one, we have 4 of these we got to remove. And if I remove those 4 tabs, then for this one, it will now fit inside of here. I'm going to be adding that plate in front of it, okay? For the ground one though, it takes a little bit more. Not only are you going to have to remove these 2 tabs, but you'll look, there's a score back here. You got to remove that part too. So instead of trying to remove all 4, what you just do, get it right above that screw and just work it back and forth. It'll come right off. Right above that screw, work it back and forth, right off. And now this one will fit right in there. The screw will go on the outside. The nut that we saved will go on the opposite side, and that will secure this to it. I'll probably use the screws that came with the universal instead of these screws that came with the receptacles when I secure it to the faceplate. Okay, so we're going to picture how we want these things in here. We're going to kind of want them like this. First thing I'm going to do is hook up the ground wires for each of them. Okay, for the ground fault one, if you notice, the ground has a plate that's designed for that ground wire to go right under and then tighten it. Now, a lot of people will bend that, but it's totally not necessary. All right, now that one's grounded. However, when we look at this one, we notice we don't have a plate. So for this one, we are going to have to bend this and then attach the screw to it. So once again, you can put it through the hole in your pliers and turn your pliers. Once again, after I get mine on there, I like to go ahead, after I get it on, let me get it on there, and pinch it and get it on there really tight. And then tighten that really good. Okay, now, both of these are now grounded. All right, this one going here, this one going here. All right, now here's the concept. Here's the cord coming in. It's going to come into this one. It's going to feed out and then come to this one. Now you can't, if you want both of these to be grounded properly, you have to put these into the correct ones. And the correct ones, if you see it on the back, one says line and one says load. Well, remember, right in the word line, you have IN in the word line. And that is the one that goes in. Remember, black goes in brass and neutral goes into that one here. So I'm going to strip these and put them in the one that says in. I'm not going to film that. Okay, so look at what I have. Ground it, ground it. Power coming in, neutral coming in. Okay, they're secure. Now, I need to come out, black to brass, white to steel right there. And if I look at these, they all have these plates that I can just strip and put them in. But let's think about it a second. I'm only going from here to here and from here to here. So I don't want a great big long piece of wire. Remember, this isn't going in a wall. So if for some reason I ever need to take it apart, I can just unplug it and take it apart. So I literally don't want a huge piece of wire in here. So I'm gonna go about, I don't know, about that long for both the white and black. Just strip both ends. You don't have to make circles, and then white to white, black to black, and we have this thing totally wired up. All right, the wiring is complete. Now let's look one more time what we did. We have the power coming in, the hot goes into the line, the one that says line, the neutral comes into the line. All of the grounds are all together, the ground from here, here, and the cord, they're all grounded to the box. The neutral then comes out, goes to the neutral for here, hot from here to here. Okay, so now all we got to do is secure these to the plate, put the plate on here, and we'll be finished. Okay, so here's this one. We have the cover plate. It came with that metal, I'm not sure what you would even call it, but it's that bracket. And remember, we're going to secure it with, excuse my arm, the screws and these tabs that came with it. These tabs will work as nuts on the back of these, and we're going to screw this here, screw that one together, and then we'll put it together. I'm not going to bore you with watching me screw all these screws together. Okay, so I have both receptacles secured to this. All of my wires look good, nothing's loose. I've checked them all. I didn't use a whole lot of room here, so everything should fit in this box really easily. So what we have to do is take these two screws out. Take that one all the way out. Take this one over here all the way out. Press that down on that. Remember, we didn't put a whole lot of wire in there. Remember, this is an extension cord. It's not inside of a wall where you're going to have to go make if you ever need to make a repair or something. You shouldn't have to, but if you ever did, you just unplug it and unscrew it. It's not a matter of saving a bunch of lines. Get this screw on here. One more screw. check it out. My super cord is finished. Now when we go outside, we have 4 receptacles. That is secure. I tightened it down with wrenches and a crescent wrench. It is not going anywhere. This is going to last me the rest of my life. That thing is secure. Very, very secure. All right, so the last thing we can do is we got to test it, make sure everything is plugged in correctly. I know you're not supposed to plug an extension cord into an extension cord, but for this purpose, I'm going to just for this. I got to put the tester on here. I had to reset that. Now, if these 2 lights turn orange, then everything's good. If they turn any other thing, it'll tell us what's wrong. So let's see if they're both orange. Bingo. See how those are both orange? That means it's wired correctly. If I ever have a surge, look at that. If I ever have a surge or anything like that, it'll reset right here. It won't go back to the breaker box. So that right there just improved Lisa and I's work outside, and that's a game changer for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.